What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to the channel, and today we are going to be talking about something that I've been very curious about, and I know there's a lot of other people that are very curious about it as well. And we're going to talk about a point and shoot such as the Sony ZV-1 versus my smartphone of choice, the iPhone 13 Pro Max. We're going to talk about the pros, the cons, which one is better, which one is not, which one you should choose. So stay tuned, don't go nowhere. Alright, so let's talk about some of the pros of each of these cameras. So we'll talk about the ZV-1 first. It is a dedicated camera. You have your dedicated controls. You have a physical lens that's probably actually better than the lens options as you get on the iPhone 13 Pro Max. It is an actual camera. That is its use case. That is what it is for. That is what it is designed for. You have excellent audio options built in on the camera as well. You can also add an external mic source like one of these Rode wireless mics that you can use, or a shotgun mic such as the Rode Video Mic Pro Plus or the Rode Video Micro Mini, whatever microphone, DJI, DD, whatever microphone option you want, Comica, you can use all those. You can mount those to that camera, so you have a lot of options with that. You have a flip out LCD, so you can actually see yourself if you're doing any kind of vlogging. You have full control of your settings, which you do not have on any iPhone, or some smartphone cameras do have that. I think some of the Androids you can actually go to manual controls, but I still don't think you can actually control the aperture on those. But do not quote me on that, I'm not sure. But I know with iPhones, especially the iPhone 13 Pro Max, which is the one we were doing about this video, you cannot control any of your manual settings. You can download third-party apps and have some control, but you still can't change the aperture. So there is that. So again, it's a dedicated camera. That's what it's used for. That's a big pro for it. Now let's talk about the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Some of the pros: it's small, it's light, fits right in your pocket, has great image quality, has great dynamic range. You can shoot up to 4K 60, 10-bit footage. You have ProRes internal recording that you can do on that thing. So there's a lot of great video codec, video features for this camera. Well, for this phone / camera system. So, it's definitely a great option. I understand why a lot of people utilize their smartphones as a second camera versus getting something like the Sony ZV-1. Especially with the newer phone cameras such as the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. Those, have a lot of better specs than this 13 Pro Max does, since they're 2 years newer, but still, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, a lot of people still have that one. A lot of people still love that phone. So I'm talking about that one in this specific video. So now let's go into some of the cons. Con for the ZV-1, it's a point and shoot camera. A lot of people are thinking these cameras are dead. I disagree with that statement wholeheartedly, but a lot of people think these cameras are dead. As far as the focal length on this specific one, it's a 24-70 full frame equivalent, which is not that great if you're one used as a vlogging camera. 24mm is decently wide, but the stabilization on this thing sucks versus the iPhone 13 Pro Max has a lot better stabilization. So you're not going to get that wide field of view. You're going to look more like a kind of just a bobbling head in the screen if you put any of that stabilization on. So you have to take that into account. It only shoots in 8-bit, so you color grading in this camera is probably not something you're going to want to do. If you want to shoot in any of the log features on this camera, you have to shoot a base ISO of 1000, which introduces a lot of noise. In order to combat that noise, you have to do a lot of grading, dropping the shadows, and a lot of that information just doesn't stay together, just starts breaking apart. So I wouldn't recommend using log on this camera. I would stay more at the standard, or like PP1 is a great picture profile for this camera in my opinion. Now, as far as the iPhone 13 Pro Max, some of the cons for this guy, it's a phone. It's not designed as a camera. Yes, it has a camera system, but that is not what its main functionality is. It is a phone. It is an internet browsing device. It is a camera. It is a lot of things. It's not a dedicated camera, and to me, that is a huge thing. when I want to go out and shoot things, I want to use a camera, not a phone. I just don't feel inspired a lot to use my phone. I feel more inspired using my FX30 or the ZV-1 versus using my phone on my camera that's on my phone. So that's the big thing. Some of the footage is very digital looking. To me, it's very digitally sharp. It's not as natural looking versus the ZV-1. I feel is a lot more natural looking image. Photo wise, they both take great photos, so I'm not going to compare them as far as photo specs. They both take great photos. If you want to use the vlogging, use it as a vlogging camera, you can. You have the front facing camera, but when you do that, you're using the camera that's not near as good quality as the one that's on the back, because if you try to flip it on the around, you can't see yourself. You don't know if you're framed up, so that's definitely a negative for that camera. I know, again, I'm not going to talk about the 14 and the 15. I know those are going to have better front facing cameras, but at the end of the day, your best camera is the one that's on the back, and used as a vlogging camera, you're just not utilizing your best camera. So that is definitely a con. Now, what would I say these camera systems are for? So if you are someone that just, doesn't want to have to carry a camera around, and you're comfortable with shooting video and photo on your smartphone, and you're just posting on social media, you really don't have a lot of desire to do anything, I don't want to say professional, but just higher quality. It's just more of a social thing. It's just kind of posting memories and stuff like that. I don't think you really need a camera, because the iPhone 13 Pro Max camera is good enough for that. It's good enough for a lot of things. Where I think the ZV-1 is for the person that wants to step up their video and photo game to just the next level, just because it is a dedicated camera. It does have a bigger sensor. You have a lot more flexibility with that camera as far as how your image is going to look, and just how much more you can grow with that camera compared to iPhone 13 Pro Max. Again, you can't control your settings. You can do that with that camera. The image is more natural looking versus the iPhone image, in my opinion. Again, all that is subjective. I'm just giving you my opinion of what I think. I would definitely, every day ends in Y. I'm going to choose my Sony ZV-1 over my iPhone 13 Pro Max camera for a lot of different things. The only times I really use the 13 Pro Max is for just really quick stuff. I use it for some BTS stuff when we were shooting some of our jobs, that kind of thing, stuff really quick like that. I've used my ZV-1 on actual professional jobs as a second, B or C camera, just so, have a different angle. I have no desire to do that with my iPhone, but not saying you can't do it. I just prefer not to, just because, again, the image is nice, it looks good, they've come a long way, but in my opinion, they just still don't replace an actual camera. I don't care if it's a expensive mirrorless camera like the FX30, or if it's a little point and shoot camera like the ZV-1. That's just my opinion. So I don't think they're dead. I would definitely recommend the ZV-1 if you especially if you're starting off and you want to get your first camera. I think it's a great first camera where you can start and then build from there. There's other options you can go with where you start building your lens collection, but if you're not ready for an interchangeable lens camera, I think that's a great place to start. So anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next time I make a video. Cool.